Okay, so here is the power supply. It looks like 5 volts at 750 milliamps. Completely overkill. Direct current. I probably need like 50 milliamps for this model. Let me find a plug for this. And let's see if this lights still. It should. I'm not too worried about it. Well, like I say, it should. Now I am worried about it. Definitely no lights. Let's try these two up here. And we do have lights here. Let's make sure that we don't have them here. Just really bad angles to be working at. Okay, so they do light up there. It's just tough to tell in the bright light overhead. That's a very subtle effect. So it does work top or bottom. So what I will do is seal off one and not the other. And the way I'll do that is by sacrificing these guys here. So those should stay out of trouble now. And what I have, rather what I had, so now I don't seem to see it anywhere, is a pair of connectors. There we go. I've had this laying around for a while. It looks like it came from a computer somewhere. So one of these is going to go inside, one of them is going to go outside, and they're going to be plugged in when they need to be, and tucked away up there. So it's going to be some simple soldering, relatively simple soldering. Ooh, well, I just broke that pretty good. So I'll have to solder that connection point now. But yeah, still basic simple soldering. In fact, let's see what we can do here to personalize this a little more. I don't have any heat shrink smaller than this, unfortunately. But this should work out well. What I'm going to have trouble doing here is getting an actual slack for an attachment. That's pretty much all the give there is right there. And that just makes things difficult, to say the least. Even if I had a wire wrapper right now, this would be very, very difficult to do, I think. Well, maybe not. Okay, so what I realized was that if I just connect this little stumpy attachment to these stumpy little leads and I go to try and plug this in, it's gonna break nice and easy. What I need is some slack inside here, and this is what I'm doing now. It's not exactly easy. These are very small wires. But I'm kind of able to wrap them around each other. What I'm going to do is put some nice big blobs of solder on these, and they won't want to go anywhere. So I did forget to put a little piece of heat shrink on the positive here, but I did remember to put it on the negative, so I'll just tape both of these up once they're soldered. I'll get that down. Alright. Been asked what kind of solder I use. Cheap is pretty much the only answer I've got. I don't know what percentage of silver, rosin, or resin, or anything like that. I just get the cheapest, most generic solder that there is. And so far it seems to be working out, but I'm not really doing anything super complex with this at all. Is this thing on? Yep, there we go. Nice and blobby, just like I said. This one's going to be a little more difficult. I want to get these wires nice and hot so the solder just flows all over them. But I don't want to spend a lot of time too close to the plastic, because I don't want to melt that. I think that did it. So yeah. Now this will be much easier to attach the other end. If I can find what I did with that. It should be right there in the claspy. The next thing you got to do is make sure that I get the polarity right. And unfortunately the heat shrink shrunk before I could put it in place. So let's snip this loose, hopefully. Normally I'd use a heat gun, which is basically a glorified hairdryer, to seal this up, but I want to stay local and just use this lighter to melt that heat shrink around the connection. With a little bit of electrical tape around the other one, it should be alright. And hopefully, yeah. I was worried this might not tuck into the body if both sides needed to be sealed up, but it's unlikely to get lost because the negative and the positive come from different sides. So meeting in the middle, this will always be in the middle somewhere. So we got to get positive to this side. Let's see what we got going on here for power. I have to turn the light off here a second. And we do have power. So this one with the wire here is the positive, so that'll keep things easy. And this one with the yellow here is also the positive. I'll get a piece of heat shrink here. This will cover both connections. This will cover this connection. Maybe not. Yeah, it looks like I'll have to use electrical tape to seal this up. Actually, let's take this a little closer. Sometimes in wires there's this plastic or fabric in there. Just get a lighter and melt all that away. It will keep you from twisting the wire up otherwise. So that's a nice short lead. Usually I cut it long because I'm sloppy, but let's see how neat I can make this. I got to get a new soldering tip here. The side is hotter faster than the tip itself is. Looks like I need some magnets in the middle of the table to hold this helping hands in place.